G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So today I'm going to be showcasing my All-Australian team for the 2024 season. It's been a solid year of footy, of course, and always like doing these videos each and every year. Now this video isn't a prediction on what I think the team will be itself. This is more of a personal video of what my team is going to be. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you do go into enjoy today's video, and let's get into it. Okay, so no fuss, let's get right into the team. We'll start with the backs, so the back three, and we'll work our way up the field, as always with these field team reveal videos that I do on the channel. So for the backs, I've got Dane 𝐬𝐸𝐴, Jeremy McGovern, and Dan Houston. So first off with 𝐬𝐸𝐴, he's had an unbelievable season. The last few years playing half forward, and I guess slightly regressing as he's gotten older with age, but at 35 years old, he's come out, and I reckon he can win the best and fairest for Brisbane this year. Since 𝐸𝐴₠ gone down, he's gone back to the back line and has racked up the footy for fun for the Lions this season. A really good accumulator and just a smart player, I think, behind the footy, and just his age and experience and his leadership, I believe, has been a big part for Brisbane too. And then Jeremy McGovern at the full back position. Now, there are a few people that probably say, well, he's in a bottom three team, so maybe not, but I think he's been one of the best key defenders this year. His intercepting abilities also is always just what we adore with a player like McGovern. Last few seasons, injuries really killed him, but he's been able to, for the most part, have a consistent enough season for All-Australian consideration. I think Champion Data was rating him as the best key defender in the competition too, and he's a really good user coming out of the back 50 for West Coast as well. He's not a key defender that makes silly mistakes. You know, he's a really good user. So McGovern in the fullback spot for me. And then Dan Houston in the back pocket for Port Adelaide. Now, he may or may not make it the actual team, but more of a personal selection for me. I just love his kicking coming out of the back 50. I think he's genuinely one of the best users in the competition. Now, we say this for many elite players, but he's a really good type. He's got legs like golf clubs. He's just able to pitch a kick perfectly into space for a teammate or in between two defenders and hit that target right in the corridor. Just a really impactful user coming off the back flank for the Port Adelaide Footy Club, and because of that, he is in my All-Australian team. Okay, moving across now to my half-backs. I'm going with 𝐿𝐼𝐴 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐴, Harris Andrews, and Max Holmes. So 𝐿𝐼𝐴 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐴's had a crazy good year. He's had his injury woes, of course, the past few seasons and a couple of form issues, but probably ever since halfway through the season last year, he's really been able to get back into some of his elite career best form. He's been one of the best accumulators across half-back this year out of any player. He works hard for his possessions, always providing really quality use and drive with the Giants ball movement, and he's great on both feet, of course, at Whitfield. And then Harris Andrews at centre-half back. Surely he makes the All-Australian team this year. He was very unlucky last year, won the best and fairest in a grand final side. He's got to make it again this year. Another season leading the competition in intercept marks. A big part, I feel, in the Lions' mini turnaround whilst they were looking a bit shaky halfway through the year. He's got to be in the team for me, and I've really enjoyed his season. And then Max Holmes across half-back for the final spot from the Cats. Not a heavy accumulator, but we all know with this guy, just high impact with his ball use. I think Champion Data had him as a top 10 player just because of the quality he is with his decision making and his foot skills. Player with also a great ticker and a high work rate too, and that completes my back six. Okay, moving on to the centres now. I am going with, for the wings, Errol Gulden and Zach Merrett, and for the centremen, Marcus Bontempelli. Now, Errol Gulden, this is pretty much a no-brainer, really. He's been the best wingman this year once again, an elite accumulator. He's been tagged a little bit this season too, but yeah, his work rate's outstanding. He's was pushing halfway through the season for 100% time on ground and just quality by foot, and I think he's leading the comp in inside 50s, or he's set the record, I think, for the most inside 50s in your first 100 games. He smashed it with 90 games so far in his career. He's been excellent this year, Gulden. Marcus Bontempelli, a no-brainer really. You just stick him in your team each and every year. He's been another outstanding player in this competition. I'm going to put the vice captaincy on him, let's say, because you've got to put a captaincy on two players. Will definitely be up there for the Brownlow, no doubt, and he's had, of course, some massive individual games and always just really quality use coming out of the middle, and has been able to pinch hit forward and take some strong marks inside 50. And Zach Merrett, yes, I know he's not a wingman, but this is how the All-Australian teams work. It's hard to put in two genuine wingmen, so don't think there's really anybody. I mean, D'Ambrosio was close for me, but how does he compare to the elite mids in the comp? I'd rather go with Merrett in my eyes. He's a bit more of that outside type too. And yeah, he's just had another really consistent season for the Dons. He's had games where he's been tagged, yes, but he's been able to break free of a couple of those tags. Always is able to cover the ground so well, up the ground for marks and helping in transition, and is always a lovely kick inside 50 AFL to 𝐓𝐴𝐶 𝐸. So yeah, just ultra consistent. Got to stick him in your team. Now for the on-ballers and the ruckman, I'm going with Max Gawn, Patrick Cripps, who will be my captain, and Nick Daicos. Now, Gawn, 𝐸𝐵, who are you going to pick? I understand Tristan 𝐸𝐵 is the more popular selection, and I think he's had an unbelievable season too. Really love watching him this year, highly improved player. But Gawn has had statistically his best season in 6 or 7 years. For me, Gawn, the best ruckman in the competition still. He's had some massive games this year for Melbourne. Just his ability to float back behind the ball, intercept, be a target obviously forward of the ball, and just in general play. His tap work is the best out of anybody, I still feel. His impact in the contested game cannot go unnoticed too. It's Max Gawn. He's had his best season in quite a while. For me, he slightly edges Tristan 𝐸𝐵 in my eyes, and I'll pick him as my ruckman. And then Paddy Cripps as my first on-baller will be the captain for me, as I said early on. Massive year he's had, Cripps, and a real good chance to win his second Brownlow. First half of the year, very solid, but the second half of the year, he's been able to, have some massive games, and he's just been able to carry that Carlton team on his back with a lot of matches too. So influential in that contested game. His possession's always a really good and really clean player in heavy traffic, and has been a fine leader for the Carlton Footy Club, no doubt. And then Nick Daicos, 100% guarantee for the All-Australian side, no doubt, as my second follower. One of the best accumulators in the competition, and what I've really liked about his game this season is when there's been 𝐸𝐿𝐻 and Mitchell out, for example, he's been the guy leading the contested count. He's been the guy winning that footy in and under. He's just so clean in heavy traffic. He's like a Pendlebury type. And his awareness is what always stands out for me when watching Nick Daicos play. And just like Cripps, I think it will be an interesting Brownlow medal night for sure. He could certainly win his very first. And then now across to the half-forward line, I am going with Isaac Heaney, Charlie Curnow, and Dylan Moore. So Heaney, I feel like it is justified to put him on the half-forward because he has throughout the year been thrown forward and able to take some marks inside 50 and kick some goals. But this guy's a no-brainer for your All-Australian team. The best player in the comp halfway through the year. Regressed slightly and did get suspended, but he's finished off the season pretty well to 100% lock him in for an All-Australian spot. We'll be up there for the coaches' votes and certainly the Lee Matthews Trophy, but yeah, he's been a great move as a full-time midfielder for the Swans this year, Heaney. Strong, clean at ground level. Yeah, unbelievable year, Isaac Heaney. And then Charlie Curnow, I feel like he still does stay in the All-Australian side. The last few weeks getting injured and the form drop-off too. Questions, maybe he doesn't make the team, but it's still Charlie Curnow. He was still great up until he had the injury problems. Lovely field kick, aggressive in the air. Great set shot too. I've got to have him in my team in my eyes. I think he's still the third highest goal scorer in the comp, or fourth, I'm pretty sure that is. And then Dylan Moore on your half-forward line. Got to have this guy in my team. Love watching him this season. Started off the year with a bit of glandular fever problems, but certainly has had a career best year for Hawthorn. A lot of those Hawks small forwards like Dylan Moore, of course, and Ginnivan and Watson have been key parts to the Hawks' success, I feel, this year. He pushes up the ground to help out, but he can also be a threat on transition just with his elite work rate. Can pinch hit in the midfield and kick some lovely goals in open play, and he's up there for goal assists too. He's just a high score involvements player, this guy, so got to have him in my team. And across to the forwards, for my forward line here, we are going with Tyson Stengel, Jesse Hogan, and Jeremy Cameron. Stengel's been, I feel, the best small forward in the competition this year. Now, there hasn't been that many elite small forwards, but still does warrant a selection in my eyes. He's kicked over 40 goals this year and just always highly involved in that Cats forward line. He's a good user inside 50 and just a creative player too, and has kicked some lovely goals this year as well. Really enjoyed his season, Stengel. And then Jesse Hogan in the full forward position does not shock many. The Coleman medalist for this season. He's had an unbelievable year for the Giants, and what a story it's been. Had some issues at Melbourne and also Fremantle, but has come across, and even in the back half of last year he was great too, but he's been able to produce a fully consistent season. Coleman medalist, like we said, really good contested mark and one of the more accurate kicks in the competition for goal. Just a reliable player, Jesse Hogan, and without him I think the Giants would not be sitting in the top four. And then Jeremy Cameron for the Cutters here. Now this one is, yeah, a bit of a 50-51 I feel. I've just decided to include him in because he's had some ordinary games this year, Cameron, but it's been somewhat balanced out with some elite games he has had this season. We all know �絵𝐥𝐝 works hard at the ground for his possessions, can really use it well inside 50, a lovely field kick, and yeah, he's obviously the type of player that can kick some unbelievable goals. He's kicked over 50 goals this season, �絵𝐥𝐝, so yeah, I feel like his output is strong enough to be an inclusion in the All-Australian team. And now for the interchange here, 4 players we have got to finish off the team. I'm going with Chad Warner, Caleb Serong, Zach Butters and 𝐓𝐿𝐼 �NEIL. Yes, they're all midfielders, but there's just been elite mids this year. I feel like they've all got to be in. And we'll start off with Chad Warner. He's got to be in the side for me. I think he's leading the competition, or halfway he was leading the competition in score involvements and still is in like the top 3. He's kicked the most goals this year out of any midfielder. He's had some huge games. I feel like this has finally got to be his very first All-Australian selection. And then Caleb Serong from the Fremantle Dockers will be, I'm pretty sure, in the top 3 for the coaches' votes at the end of this season. And as I have said in the past, feel like he's the best in and under ball user in the comp. Just his ability to find that ground ball, win it well, extract it out cleanly. His accumulation in the second half of the year probably did taper off a wee bit with Brayshaw and Hayden Young really having much more impact. But still is targeted on a regular basis, Serong, and just simply is one of the best in and under users in the AFL. Got to have him in my team. And then Zach Butters from Port Adelaide, got to be in my team. He's had some huge performances for the pair this season, and it was always hard as a cat's head. Just love his aggression on the footy. He's able to have some really creative use in open play too, like those little hack kicks he does around the corner, but those lofty ones into space for teammates. He just has some superb foot skills, I feel like, and can do some really creative things with the footy, but also can win it really well in and under. And yeah, impactful forward of centre. Of course, Zachy Butters has had a big year. And then 𝐓𝐿𝐼 �NEIL, going to be up there for the Brownlow. Massive second half of the season. Maybe a bit of recency bias because his first half, he was trudging along okay. But yeah, we all know �NEIL, just a clean user in and under. Smart player too. And the quality of the player he is, his leadership, it can't go unnoticed. Been a big part in Brisbane's season, especially in that mid-season turnaround. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is my All-Australian side for the 2024 AFL season. Now, I've been seeing a lot of teams across the span of the last week or so, and there's many different selections, there's many different players that, of course, going to be stiff with my own team. So let me know your team down below in the comments section. Always do stir a bit of debate these videos. So yeah, I'm happy to hear your people's opinions down below in the comments. But there is my All-Australian side for 2024. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did go on to enjoy today's video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. See you later, fellas.